YouTube, we are back for another upload in relation to The Brave and the Bold. So what I want to do now is I want to work on removing the tape from this book. So I'm not going to start with the cover. We're going to start with the interior first page, which is detached, and we're going to put everything else to the side. And when I'm working on books and the pieces that I'm not dealing with, I like to put them into a magazine holder because it just is easier to pull out and it gets protected when I am not working on it. So it will stay in here until we need it. So what are we going to do? We're going to remove the tape, hopefully, and hopefully it will come off nicely. So I am going to do a step-by-step process of how this tape is going to be hopefully removed. Now, I know I've done tape videos in the past, but we're going to do this one a little different. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to wet down the page with regular water. And the reason why I want to wet it down with water is that sometimes using solvents, the actual page will become stained. And we don't want that. So by wetting it down, I'm hoping to prevent the solvents from staining the actual paper itself. So we're gonna just let the water penetrate into the first wrap. And I want this to penetrate for a good 5 minutes, and we're just gonna let it sit here and we're gonna let it absorb the water. So I'm going to shut the camera off and I'll be back in 5. Okay guys, 5 minutes have passed and we are back. So what are we going to do? I am going to use a combination of solvents to hopefully remove the tape from this page. And it will be a good test to see how well the tape will react with the solvents. So what I want to do is I just want to clean up the water that was put on it to a degree. We want to remove the water. And the reason, like I said, I did put the water on was to prevent staining with the application of chemicals. So what we have is Bestine, and then I'm going to use some xylene. But you have to be careful with xylene because xylene in Silver Age books can at times pull up the ink. So we have to be very careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eyedropper and I just want to install the Bestine and hopefully it absorbs underneath the actual tape itself. And I like doing tape removal on a flat surface. It's very important because as you will see, the flat surface will act as a support in removing the tape, and it will increase the chances of the tape coming up smoothly and decrease the chances of the paper ripping. So we'll do this We'll let it penetrate, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes or so, and I'll reapply the Bestine, and hopefully it will loosen up the adhesive on the tape. So there we go, and I'll apply a little bit more, and we'll let it sit, like I said, for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to shut the camera off, and I will be back in about 5-10 minutes. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay guys, we are back, and I changed the angle of the camera because I want to show you how I remove the tape. And this is a tool that I use. It's from Blick Art, and it's basically a flat, rigid paint tool for oil painting. So what we want to do is we want to get the actual tool underneath the tape, just like this, and I'm using the glass to support the tool, and hopefully by doing this the tape will be freed up. We're going to put a little more solvent in there, just like that, and let's wet this bottom piece. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but here we go. We're going to rock it back and forth, and hopefully I'll be able to free the tape from the first page of the first appearance of the Justice League. So there we go. We're going to go flat. We're going to change the direction, and I'm rocking it back and forth, slowly putting pressure on the paper to remove the tape. And so far it's working quite well, as you can see, and it looks like I was able to remove that tape easy peasy. So this is piece number 1, and there you go. Minimum paper loss, which is a good thing. So let's put this to the side. We'll put it up here. Now let's shoot. There's still adhesive, I can see it, but we're gonna let it dry, and we're gonna work on that later. So now let me go down, and let's see if I can be as lucky with this piece. I'm gonna get underneath just like that, using the glass. Now I see people online on YouTube, when they remove tape sometimes, and they don't use a rigid base underneath. I just don't think it's good. You have to use glass. And not anyone in particular. It could be tape removal on books or other things, not necessarily comics. But the glass is the key thing, because you can put pressure on your tool. And then sometimes I like to take the brush and use a paintbrush as well. A paintbrush, sometimes in addition to the tool. And we're gonna go nice and slow, rocking back and forth to remove the tape. And then we'll be able to hopefully add many more years on this book. And right there I see a little piece of the paper coming up with the tape. It's okay. And if that happens, sometimes you want to move your position and start in a different location. And I see some paper coming up, and it happens. It's not a perfect thing, but sometimes when that happens, you just have to stop and you have to get a little more of the solution of the Bastine and you install it. Another thing is, if you feel like you're rushing, because I'm not Russian, I am Italian, so you just have to step back. And if you feel like you're not feeling it, if you feel that you're not liking the way things are going with the tape removal, you have to just step away. I'm being called upstairs, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. When the wife calls, you have to go. So I was called and I went upstairs. But that's okay. You have to do that sometimes. That's my oil burner going. Let me shut it off. I'm happy that it's March now, and hopefully the warm weather will come. And luckily it wasn't that bad with the heating this year, because we had a mild winter in New York. So here we go. Now I see the rip. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. There's a rip underneath there. So I don't want to go across that rip. I want to try to stay away from it and attack the tape in all different directions. So here we go, going back and forth. I hope this is not boring, people, but if you're watching it, I'm sure it is not boring. So there we go. Successfully removed tape 2. So what I want to do is I want to redirect, actually I'll move my glass, because right here is the money piece, if that makes sense. Actually it doesn't. This is a piece of glass, piece of tape that I really want to try to do my best on, because I don't want to lose any of the graphics. And right there I just punctured it, so there's a rip there. Okay, and I guess that's why the tape was there. So I'm going to attack the tape from the top. Let's do it from the top, going down, and hopefully that will help us. And listen, it's not a perfect system. Sometimes, even if you try your best, you're going to lose, because it's not guaranteed that you can free up the tape and remove it without damaging the paper. Who knows how long this paper has been, this tape has been on this page. It could have been here for a long time. And as we all know, this book is from 1960. So that's a long time the tape could have been here. It's older than me. So sometimes the adhesive just blends into the paper, making it very difficult. Now I don't know if I'm going to successfully be able to remove this piece. I think actually the graphics are coming up somewhat, I can see, which is okay. I didn't want it to happen, but it just does happen. Let's put a little more Bastine. Let that penetrate in there. And hopefully I'll be able to free it up without losing graphics or writing in this case, but it may not happen. And you have to be prepared in doing this that you may lose some graphics, and there's nothing that could be done about it. So I'm rocking back and forth. It looks like a little bit is coming up nicely. It looks like we're achieving our goal. Let's put some more chemical, more Bastine underneath, let it penetrate. The fumes are a little overpowering. I don't have a fume hood or anything like that, which is okay. But maybe if someone wants to do this on their own, you should consider doing it in a well ventilated area. So I see there's a piece of tape coming up, a piece of the cover, and look at this. I'm gonna be radical and try to go through this way and pull it back just like that. And I see a little piece coming up, but it happens. And right there, that's the rip I just hit. So we know why there was tape on it, because someone in the past really loved this book. But you know what? By doing this the way we're doing it, taking our time, we'll make a better book that will last hopefully more generations to come. Let's put a little bit more solvent in there. And I still haven't decided whether I'm gonna do the full conservation or not. I don't know. I really don't. I may just remove all the tape and then send it off to be graded and see what happens. Okay, I see I have a little issue here. I'm penetrating the paper, and that happens. Right there, some paper's coming up. It happens. Let's flip it over and let's see. Maybe it's just a thin layer. Nope. Okay. Okay, well. And as you can see, we removed it somewhat. And it does happen. And look how the ink actually imprinted on the tape. So we did save it to a degree. So I have 2 more pieces of tape that I have to remove. I'm gonna do it off camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, that's it. I removed all the tape successfully to a degree. Here are the 3 pieces. A little paper did come up. This piece is the piece for the bottom. We know the paper came up. This piece right here, I didn't even attempt to remove the tape because it was hanging on the comic right here by a thread. So there's no way I would be able to remove that. I may remove the tape from that piece of paper and put it back. I'm not sure yet. So the tape is removed, and now we just have to work on the adhesive, and we have to do every single wrap, because I think there's tape on every single page of this book. So hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned.